Recently, I was inspired by one of my favorite YouTubers, Drewski, to pick up the Mida Multi Tool yet again. If you guys don't know this weapon, back in year 1 of Destiny 2, this weapon was the absolute meta. That was back in the day when we had double primaries and team shotting was the meta, therefore making these long range team shot engagements optimal back then. It's been a long time since this weapon has been in the spotlight, especially considering it's a scout rifle. But with a lot of the shifts we've seen inside of the primary metagame and Beyond Light, things have changed a lot, and this weapon might just be able to compete. So I spent some time with it the past week or so, and I want to talk about it a little bit because there's some things that we can do to make it perform even better. So let's dive into it. So before you click off the video and meme me for it, Scout Rifles actually received a sizable buff at the beginning of Beyond Light. Now, it might not seem like much on paper, but it really makes a difference. And it says right here that they received up to a 15% increase in their aim assist cone that's based more on the aim assist stat. Now, the Mida Multi Tool Scout Rifle takes advantage of this the most. It has a 100 aim assist stat, which means that it's going to be getting that 15% aim assist increase in its cone. And you can really feel it when you're using it now. It's actually crazy. Some of the headshots you're getting don't feel like headshots. I mean, it's very forgiving and it makes it a lot of fun to use. It can make it very viable. On top of that, seeing that we had those 150 hand cannons turn into 140s, we had auto rifles tuned down a little bit, and the overall TTK of the game slowed down considerably. Hand cannons, 140 hand cannons, are now at a 0.87 TTK. Auto rifles are at a 0.8 optimal TTK. The only thing that's really scooting ahead of that is high impact pulse rifles with their 0.67 TTK. Now, the Mida Multi Tool actually has a 0.9 second optimal TTK. And I know this is a lot of numbers to go over, but the thing to keep in mind is that they're closer together now than they ever were before. And that's just in their base form. There's a lot of crazy things inside of Beyond Light that give us extra weapon damage and things that we can be taking advantage of more often to make your weapons more lethal more often. Using things like Whispers of Hedrons, Charged with Light, can make your weapon a lot stronger and in some situations can lower the overall TTK of your weapon. And you might be able to see in some of the background footage, the optimal time to kill is going to be achieved with 3 crits and 1 body with the Mida Multi Tool. So it's a 4 shot total, giving you that 0.9 second TTK. However, if we are charged with light and using high energy fire, or we have that Whisper of Hedrons buff, it's going to lower our TTK to 0.6, and it only requires 3 crits to achieve. It's going to increase the damage considerably and make this weapon have a much faster time to kill, making it very competitive. The one Rumble game I'm showing you at the beginning of the video was insane, and I completely slayed out the entire lobby just using Mida Multi Tool, and it blew me away. And it's what made me want to dive into this weapon a little bit more. Now, it's not the best dueling weapon in the world. I can admit that wholeheartedly. I dived in with one of my close buddies when we were messing around in a 1v1, and he destroyed me. I mean, you cannot compete in a 1v1 situation against a hand cannon or some of these other weapons. It will beat you out, unless you're a master of the scout rifle, in which case I'm not necessarily the best with it yet. And I'm sure in some situations at range, you can definitely take on some of those other primary weapons. But in a 1v1 situation, you're probably going to get beat out. But you can still use this in a lot of playlists to dominate, and it catches people off guard, and it's a lot of fun. Now, briefly, I want to talk about a build that I threw together on my Hunter to take advantage of everything I just talked about, using Whisper of Hedrons, Charged with Light, all at the same time to get the most out of Mida Multi Tool. So, of course, looking at my loadout, of course, we're using Mida Multi Tool, which has a number of perks we'll look at. The Mida Multi Tool intrinsically is a lightweight weapon, so it's going to give you +10 to your mobility. And we also have Mida Radar, where your radar stays active while aiming down sights. You can't sleep on that perk. It's always useful to have that information, especially when you're ADSing. And considering this is a scout rifle, you're doing that pretty often, and you can keep that information available to you at all times. The Catalyst just gives you Outlaw. I actually don't have it done yet. It's really a pretty lazy Catalyst IMO. It's really not that great. But again, if you have it masterworked, it's going to make it so you can generate orbs of light. So it's definitely something worth doing if you're going to invest in this gun. I'm pairing that with a shotgun. I know I got some flack for using Fellwinter's Lie in a lot of my builds, and I'm sorry for that, but it's the most meta shotgun, and I'm going to use it because I have it. There are some other options. You can use the 7 Seraph CQC shotgun. Is extremely strong. If you have Mindbender's Ambition, I know it's sunset, but it's still really strong in 90% of the crucible, and you can use that as well. Now, looking at our armor, of course we're going to use things like Radiant Light and Powerful Friends to give us the bonus stats, but I like to use the Charge with Light package, and we're using Taking Charge, Stacks on Stacks, and High Energy Fire to make it so that every time we pick up an Orb of Light, we're getting 2 stacks of Charge with Light, and we're going to get that TTK reduction on Mida Multi Tool by using High Energy Fire, because that gives us a 20% increase to weapon damage. That's something you can take advantage of fairly often, and it's going to make Mida that much stronger. Looking at our Stasis subclass, of course we want to use the Whisper of Hedrons Fragment, which gives you a bonus to weapon damage after freezing a target with Stasis. And this one's very, very strong. It gives you a 25% increase to weapon damage, and it can make it so you can do some insane things with a ton of different weapons in the game right now. I'm pairing that with the Whisper of Fissures, which makes it so when we slam our Glacier Grenade, of course, I'm sure you guys have seen the Drewski dunk lately, but that's an easy way to get some kills. It can proc Whisper of Hedrons, and it's a nice thing to combo into the whole build. We're using the Glacier Grenade, throw it on the ground, shatter dive into it, and you get free kills while proccing Whisper of Hedrons. It's a very easy way to get that ball rolling. So I don't want to keep you here all day, just want to keep the video short. I wanted to talk about Mida Multi Tool because scouts are in a very interesting place right now. I haven't had a chance to mess around with too many other archetypes, although I hear that the new Raid Scout rifle is absolutely phenomenal. I haven't gotten it to drop for me yet. I'm dying to get my hands on a solid roll, and I'm definitely going to mess around with it. The primary metagame right now inside of the Crucible is outstanding. I know Stasis is a little crazy right now, but man, the metagame is very good right now for the primary weapons, and you can mess around with a lot of different stuff combined with Charge with Light and some Stasis buffs to make them even stronger than they ever used to be. So it's just a quick shout I wanted to give, show a quick build of how I'm getting the most out of it, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. So let me know what you guys are using, what weapons you've been messing around with that are sort of off meta. It's fun to use them sometimes, and it can kind of challenge you when things get stale. You can switch it up and use some different guns. So thank you guys for checking out the video. If you guys enjoyed it, leave a like below. Consider smashing that subscribe button for me so you keep up to date with all my Beyond Light content. But with that being said, I hope to catch you in the Crucible. Take care.